Examining the arch, the team decides it's a drinking fountain, certainly dating from Cove Jones's day.
This is a Victorian thing, I reckon. You can tell by this like red brick.
If the Knights Templar hid the ark anywhere, it would have been on hollowed ground. Since the area is called Chapel Green, it stands to reason that a chapel once stood there. So the fact that they found a drinking fountain is significant.
Old chapels in medieval times always had a holy well attached to them, which is a natural spring, which was considered to have curative properties. And very often, when these fell into disuse, in later times, springs or drinking fountains were built over them. Right. And this could be very one such thing. I mean, looks Victorian to me.
Right.
And this has got to be what he was alluding to.
Yeah.
Now, could this behind here have been, if that was the original holy well with that little drinking fountain, red brick arches, then the chances are that the chapel would have been there.
Well, how do we find out about it? I mean, if there was a chapel here, how do we go about
Let's go ask
finding
the
out?
farm. I mean, the farm. Where's the farmhouse for this? That must be it there.
It's got to be here.
Graham asks one of the local farmers, who confirms his suspicions. A chapel did stand there at one time, built under strange circumstances.
When they came to build the original church here in Chapel Green, overnight the stones were mysteriously moved to the top of the hill in Knapton, and the next night they were moved back. And so they then built the original church on top of the hill.
So that was the legend, and that could basically relate to this area here. I mean,
yeah,
the church.
somewhere in Chapel Green.
Graham checks out the landscape. The field has never been excavated, and that gives Graham hope. He calls his friend Malcolm Wheel, a radar technician with Geophys Limited, who has special ground-penetrating equipment.
Hi there, it's Graham. Yeah. If you're working nearby, where we are, we're just near Southam in Warwickshire. That's right. Do you reckon you can get over here this afternoon? Oh, here's Graham and Jed. Graham?
Soon, Malcolm Wheel arrives with his radar equipment in tow.
Can your equipment find out if there could have been the remains of a chapel there or anything?
Yeah, we're going to use the radar. We're going to do this little field here. I mean, it's probably about 80, 90 foot long by 30 foot wide. We should do that in 2 or 3 hours.
Graham's quest is approaching a turning point. Is it possible that he really has discovered the location of the Ark of the Covenant in the middle of the English countryside?
We're going to use the very latest ground radar here, and we're going to send 40 electromagnetic pulses into the ground that will go down about 18 metres. And if there's anything in the ground, like any buried objects, like metal objects or foundations, the radar signals bounce back from that, and we build up a 3D image of what's actually under the ground.
But after several hours' work, there is nothing to be found.
I was hoping that there might be an outline of walls to show there was originally a chapel there, foundation stones, or even better, that there was a large object, metal object, golden object, that could have been the Ark of the Covenant. Unfortunately, there was neither. There is no evidence from that ground sensing radar, which seems to be able to go down to 18 metres, that there was no foundation stones.
Refusing to give up, Graham surveys the area. They have overlooked the obvious. There is another place the chapel might have stood, in front of the drinking fountain rather than behind it, where they had been searching. Right now, it's a paved road. But when this road was modernized years before, a lot of earth had to be removed, and any trace of the church would have been removed right along with it.
I want to try and find out where the rubble went that they dug out. Was it chucked there? Was it chucked there? So perhaps we could actually look through that rubble.
There is the chance the earth was moved nearby, and that the remains of the chapel might still be found.
Excuse me?
Yeah?
Have you any? We're just doing some research about that little drinking fountain that's over there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Next to the road.
Yeah.
Have you any idea when this road was widened here and sort of metalled over?
Yeah, I think it was about the 1950s. The road was widened and tarmacked over.
But what we wanted to know really was like the rubble that was dug out to make way for the road. Have you any idea what happened to it?
Yeah, I do actually. It was used in a field just over there to dam off a stream, so to sort of divert it. So it was taken over there, so it's not too far.
Could you like point out where it is?
Yeah, it's literally sort of see the house there.
Right.
It's a couple of fields over from there.
I managed then to check out with the County Records Department early this morning and found out exactly where this rubble was placed. This is the spot here. So this is where the rubble was apparently used to sort of shore up the embankment. Yeah, look, hang about, there's something here.
Wow.
That is definitely a cut stone, that's not a natural one.
Definitely.
So that has come from the rubble under the road and has these as well. This could very well be one of the stones from the original chapel. I think we're right. This is promising.
Well, and these are definitely not naturally formed. I mean, that's perfectly square.
Graham thinks it's a sure sign they found the remains of the old church from Chapel
That's
Green.
perfectly square.
See, this is what I was hoping was going to be found under the ground in that field, but it's clearly now obvious that it was under the road, like I suspected all along.
If they have indeed found the remains of the chapel, pointed to by the clues in Cove Jones's stained glass window, the team may also have found a direct line to where the Templars kept the Ark. The trio splits up to cover more ground.
Hey, Graham, come and have a look at this.
What's that?
Look at these markings here. They look like they're man-made.
Ah, they are.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Something.
Yes, look. These here, right, this is the kind of ornamentation that was a zigzag sort of thing that you get around pillars on old churches and chapels and medieval period.
Like a joint, joined them together.
Oh, wow.
These are definitely the stones from an old medieval building. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
we found our chapel.
Great.
It was taken from underneath that road and it was dumped here. So this is the chapel. I mean, we're onto something.
Oh, great.
This
So it wasn't
is
a dead
the
end?
chapel. No,
Yay!
absolutely. It was under that road.
Then, as the team continues to search, Jody once again makes an extraordinary find.
Guys! I think I found something. Looks like it looks like it's got something
Oh, that's a shaped
something
stone,
written
right?
on it. Yeah. Look, see, it's perfect. See, square. Should we try to dig it out?
Wow, it is square. That is definitely, yeah, that's a man-made stone or a shape, yeah.
See, it looks like it's got something
That's the
etched
same.
in it.
Is that writing on it?
Yeah, see that? It's coming
Does
out.
it
It's
come
like
out?
a slab.
Be careful.
Oh no, I will. Careful.
Wow.
That's definitely a part of a building or something.
Oh, it's too perfectly square, isn't it? But it's still rock. Oh, it's amazing how long that could have been sitting here.
I wonder if there's
Just
another
sticking
one.
out. I mean, that's what I saw was that sort of, that it looks like
Those
almost
are letters. Hold
almost
on.
like a Y. I could see it.
There's a Y. That could be an inscription from maybe off the chapel
Wow.
wall or grave marker maybe.
Is it Latin?
Hold on, we'll have to clean this up more. Let's get this. Hold on, don't do too much to it. We've
Okay.
got those brushes in the car. We can clean it up.
Okay.
And that's
That's
a Y.
definitely something, isn't it?
A quick look reveals that the inscription is written in a language that the team is not familiar with. If they could decipher it, it might provide proof of the origins and purpose of the church.
This could give us a real strong piece of evidence that this is from the original chapel that was at Chapel Green.
Graham contacts a linguistic expert. Gila Kalimi is an Israeli linguist, an expert on the origins of Middle Eastern languages. After examining the piece, she has come to a conclusion about its origins, and it's what Graham and the Russells have been waiting to hear.
Well, it wouldn't be Hebrew as we know it today, as the Hebrew we use today was formed around 950 BC.
Right.
But this looks like what used to be the Proto-Sinaitic script that would have been used around 1500 BC.
And this is an early form of Hebrew?
It is.
Right.
Yeah. If you look at the stickman,
Right.
for example, that would have represented the letter Hey in the
Right.
Hebrew alphabet.
Right.
You've got this thing here, which would have represented the letter Yod
Right.
in the Hebrew alphabet. And then you've got the this letter, which looks like the Greek letter epsilon,
Right.
which would have represented the letter Vav.
And what does that mean?
It's actually very interesting because one of the names of the God of Israel,
Right.
one of the probably most important ones mentioned in the Bible, would have consisted of the letters Yod, Hey, Vav, and Hey again.
So this could be talking about God in an early form of Hebrew.
It could be. I mean, there's the idea here of God outstretching his arms to man. So you can probably see some kind of a
So this
connection there.
You'd put this. You'd got this up here first when you'd seen this earlier, and you'd
Yes.
said this was something. This the proto. What do you call it?
Proto-Sinaitic.
Proto-Sinaitic
Sinai,
script.
yes.
And this dates from when? Do you say about 1500 BC?
Yes, this was found in the Sinai area, a place called Serabit El Kadim. And if you look at some of the symbols, they are
this is identical.
similar,
the
if not
Y is
identical.
Oh, yeah, we were
That's
wondering
right.
about that.
completely to
That's
that.
right.
And the stick man.
That's right. I mean, you have to appreciate that the Proto-Sinaitic script hasn't been completely deciphered.
But could this sandstone, we know this is sandstone, but could this be from the same area, from the Sinai wilderness?
I
is
would
that
say,
possible?
yeah, I would say by the colouring on the stone.
Because it looks very,
It is
very
Very
similar.
similar to this one that you
Absolutely.
The styration.
Hold on. There's something. There's something that just struck me right about this. Is that right? You're saying firstly that this is some early form of Hebrew that predates Hebrew as we now know it.
That's right.
So before 950 BC.
Right.
Wow.
And this text comes from Sinai wilderness.
The Sinai, yes.
Sinai wilderness. Well, isn't that we're talking? This might sound a bit crazy, but the Ten Commandments
Was supposed to be in
were
the
sup-
Ark of the Covenant.
Yes, and they were
Right.
supposed to be. They were made from the rock from Mount Sinai, and they were made at some point around about 1350 BC, when Moses was kicking around.
Right.
I mean, was this the kind of script that was in use at that time?
Yes. It
Wow.
would have been. It would have been.
Graham may have gotten in deeper than he expected, much deeper. Is it really possible that he has discovered a piece of the most holy artifact of Western civilization, the Ten Commandments? He pauses to question what they've found.
Could the Templars have faked something like this?
No, because the Templars wouldn't have known how.
What would they have
They
written
would have
it in?
used. They would have used Hebrew.
As we now know it.
Yes.
So
They
this,
wouldn't have
so
used-
this kind of old text wasn't rediscovered until more recently in archaeological
That's right.
time.
So it's definitely not a fake. It can't be a fake.
My assumption would be no. It can't be a fake.
Graham Phillips has reached the end of this particular search. The stone tablet must be subjected to rigorous analysis to determine its true origins and meanings. That could take a long time and still prove inconclusive. But Graham and his team are even more enthusiastic than before, and they aren't about to stop hunting.
I am going to continue the search for the Ark of the Covenant, and we've got to keep searching because somewhere in that area, at the end of that trail of clues,
There has
the
to be
Ark is
something.
waiting to be found.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely.